Most men lead a life of quiet desperation, especially after a breakup. They retreat within themselves, they go into silent mode, and they disappear. Some may never re enter the dating market, some become bitter and resentful, and they never open up again. And I get that. The reason why, as I explained before, is that men don't have a social network that they can rely on. They tend to shy away, they tend to not open up, and they tend not to use their friends and families. Studies have shown that women, on the other hand, use their family as leverage. They use their family as a support network, and they use their friends to help pull them through the hard times. Whereas men, we're encouraged to be silent. We're encouraged to deal with it on our own, and we're encouraged to just pretend that it doesn't even exist. And the problem with that is you're just masking the pain and you're masking the emotion that's deep within you, and you're not even able to let it breathe. You're not able to let it out so that it can heal. For me, after my biggest breakup was my divorce. The betrayal hit so hard. I felt like it was the end for me. I felt emotionally withdrawn, and that I was a good man. I did what I was supposed to do. I worked hard. I was faithful. I was loyal. But yet, I found myself in that predicament. And I said to myself, I can't trust anyone again. I can't ever get married again. I can't ever open up again because I don't want that hurt. I don't want that pain to resurface. So I buried it deep inside. And as I did that, I became more withdrawn from the world, and I was numb. And a lot of men do this. We become numb to pain. We become numb to the ambitions and desires that we want from life, we want from ourselves. We know that it's possible to be happy, but we're not sure if it's worth the effort because we're dealt with such a hard blow. I understand that. But the problem is, it's a destructive path and it's not sustainable. It's merely a coping mechanism. In fact, there's a study that shows that bitterness is the ego's defense mechanism. It shields us from our identity. It shields us from our ambition. It shields us from seeking happiness, feeling like we deserve it, because we rather live in the emotion of being bitter because it's easier, because the alternative is much more painful. There was an instance where I lost my job and I didn't have access to my daughter. We were going through a huge custody battle. And because I was originally from the US, I thought, let's screw it. Let's start again. Maybe if I went back to America and pretend all this didn't happen, it'll be much easier. But then I thought about the one person that was important in my life at the time, still is my daughter. And I imagine her growing up alone without a father. And I imagine her not knowing who I am and calling the person who I used to call a friend dad or daddy, right? And that really hurt me. It could have been easy for me to turn back and run. It was much harder to stay and to face every obstacle that being a single parent presented. In hindsight, I would have done exactly the same as I did. I stayed and I fought, and I was present in my daughter's life because she's innocent and she didn't deserve what happened. So now I have a great relationship with her. So remember that your pain can sometimes not only affect you, but it affects the people around you. It affects people who are important to you. But as long as you're stuck in that will of destruction and you keep going on being numb on your own and you're forgetting all that matters in life, it's going to be harder and harder for you to get out. The longer you're on that will, the longer it is for you to recover. So after some soul searching, I needed a job that would give me more flexibility so that I can have easier access to my daughter. And one of the jobs that allow you to make your own hours, this was before I became a life coach, is a personal trainer. And it was the hardest experience in my life because as a personal trainer, you always have to be optimistic and be vibrant and be friendly to people. And it's hard to be friendly and it's hard to be open when you have this mountain of pain on top of you, this sort of this hardship that you have to carry underneath that smile every day. But the funny thing about human psychology is the more you fake a smile, the more you tell yourself that you should be happy, and the more you try to be happy, your brain doesn't recognize the difference between that and real happiness. And eventually, you start fooling yourself into becoming positive, and you start fooling yourself, rewiring your brain into becoming more optimistic. And you look at the world in a different way, you know. And when I was training my clients, the funny thing about when you mentor someone or when you train someone and you help them reach their goal is this: while you are inspiring them, it's a two-way loop. They're inspiring you at the same time. Being a man who's strong is not exerting external brashness, is not showing off, is not walking around and talking loud and reminding everyone how alpha you are. Being a real man is internal fortitude. It's the ability to face the world and smile and be compassionate and be caring, even though life has dealt you a tough hand. This is extremely hard to do, but it's about emotional control and not suppressing. Okay, that's when a lot of men get it wrong. They suppress their emotion rather than learn how to control it. And we live in a world where there's so many influences. Let's just say within the toxic alpha male red pill community, for instance, you know, you have these men who display their wealth, display their dominance, and they speak in very binary terms. You know, you're either a person who wear their heart on a sleeve and cry at a drop of a hat, or you're this sort of stoic Spartan warrior who have all the women and all the money. And this is very unhealthy. So there's a study that shows that once men feel betrayed, their brain focus on avoiding that pain, and they pursued unhealthy connection, and they pursue unhealthy idols, right? People who are seemingly so easy for them to turn off that switch and just be the stoic hero, where in reality, those men, their emotions are not in check. They're suppressing so much. They're playing a caricature of what they want you to think they are, not who they actually are. This is not true masculinity. This is false leadership. You know, it's the whole story of a lone wolf, for instance. People always talk about, I'm going to be a lone wolf. You know, I'm going to do my own thing. But the truth is, a wolf can't survive on its own. A wolf survives in a pack. And I don't know if you've seen the life of a pack of wolves, but the alpha always walks behind and the rest of everyone else walks in front. The alpha doesn't leave necessarily from the front because the alpha is the one who wants to make sure every single other member of his pack is safe. So he stays at the back so he can keep an eye on that. And this is true strength. I get it. You might turn around to me and say, yeah, okay, maybe you got lucky a few times and you managed to rebuild your life and you managed to meet new people that can fill that void, and that's why you're talking like this. But the solution is not to completely withdraw, but it's better discernment. What it means is that you're not going to withdraw yourself from the world, you're not going to withdraw yourself in the market, but you're going to re-enter it in a smarter way. You're going to re-enter it with higher standards for yourself, and you're going to learn from the past mistakes that you made. Okay, not giving it up in total. Look, the world doesn't care that you're bitter. The world doesn't care that you're sad, that you're depressed. Okay? The world doesn't care that you make it almost your mission to call out the wrongdoing or the imbalance of the dating market and how hard it is. Okay? And women certainly, they don't like that either. But if you're true to yourself and if you build yourself and you grow and you heal from within and you don't care about the validation of the external world, you only care about your inner self, your inner guidance, and your inner strength, a miraculous thing will happen. You start to attract your tribe. You start to attract like-minded people to you. You attract women who are similar to you, who vibe with that. And oftentimes, they're much higher caliber than the ones who follow the false idols that I've mentioned earlier. So my challenge for you, if you're going through a lot of bitterness and pain and you feel like the world has nothing to offer you anymore, or you have nothing to offer the world, my challenge to you is just be kind to someone that you have no need to be kind to. Like you never see them again. Be the hero to someone else who's going through the same pain as you are. And what you will find is that by doing that, you're not only going to help pull them up, but you're going to pull yourself up as well. So that's my challenge for you. Be kind to someone, have compassion for them, lead the way for them. You're not broken, you're rebuilding. And the version of you on the other side of this is a man worth knowing, worth respecting, and worth loving. So don't disappear, come back, join this community. I know it's only 7 of you right now, but I'm trying to build it. And I said I'll be happy with 50 guys. You can comment and you could give me a suggestion. You could ask me questions. You can DM me and I will respond. I'm on Instagram and I'm starting a TikTok as well if some of you are in that. So reach out, find a friend, rebuild yourself. Not because it's easy, but because it's hard. Okay, but I'm telling you this right now, heart to heart, man to man. If you do this, what's on the other side is going to blow your mind. Have you ever heard the saying, the cave that you fear to enter holds the treasure that you are seeking? Try it.